News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
I'm Allan Gilbreth, darkhookmedia.com.
And I'm Maximilian, decrying that I'm only able to wish you a belated happy National Velociraptor Awareness Day.
Oh, my God. So we have to start being aware? Well, Allan, you and your people are trying to bring them back, right? These cloning guys, they're
trying.
Awareness. That's an odd objective, Max. I mean,
not only that, but I guess another thing to be aware of, the fact is that velociraptors actually had feathers.
So they say. I think the jury is still out. Who knows?
Nope. Jury is not still out.
Yeah.
We have plenty of evidence it had feathers.
All right, whatever. Who cares? All right, well, now we're aware. Thanks, Max. That is an odd holiday. Is it? And it's national?
Yes.
So only the Americans are observing nobody else cares about velociraptors.
Even though the first velociraptor bones were found in Mongolia.
Okay. All right. Well, if you've been to Mongolia and observed some of the velociraptor bones, this is a great day to chime in. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989. We also invite you to watch the show. You can check it out on the News Talk 98.9 The Roar's Facebook page and the News Talk 98.9 The Roar's X page. It's a good day to do it, too, because later today, we've got our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling coming in. He's been on some interesting projects since the last time we visited with him, Allan. And I think he's brought photo evidence, too. So he's been texting me some pictures. I want to see if I can get those posted up. But it's if you've got any roofing questions, boy, today is a great day to do it. So, and while you're on social media, we invite you to also go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and check out the posts we've made over there. Well, Allan, I want to wish you a happy April 20th, 2024. Because apparently, I did not know this. My daughter only just made me aware of this. This is a palindromic date.
Yes.
Which is not going to happen again for 1,000 years. Folks, if you go look at your, you do the math real quick, it's 42024. Pretty cool, man.
I mean, it's also... Never mind. Go ahead.
All right. So I think this is a day you should do something very noteworthy because you'll always remember the date, So I don't know. Palindromic things are cool. I don't know if you care about them as much as...
Go hang out with your friend Otto.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. Otto. So, all right. So that's on the table. Today is that. Also, I just want to say that I know I didn't warn you for this, Allan, but I just want to say that there's another anniversary coming up Tuesday. We want to wish a happy birthday to Wrigley Field on April 23rd. 1914, they opened their doors. So this is the 110th anniversary of really one of the most noteworthy constructions in America and definitely one of the most famous sporting venues in the world.
Would you mind if I rub it in your face a little bit about today? In terms of like baseball parks, well, today on 420 is actually the opening of Navin Field in Detroit and Fenway Park in Boston. I know how much you love Fenway Park.
I got no beef with Fenway. They're in the American League, Max.
You just said you don't like the wall.
I hate the wall though, but I do understand they had to put that wall up because there was no other way to fit the ballpark in the street. They shoehorned it in, but well, it makes sense, Max. They would have all opened on the same day. April 23rd would have been an opening day.
No, this is 420. This was in 1912.
Oh, okay. That's right. They're 2 years older. I also find it noteworthy that Shakespeare's birthday is on April 23rd. And Shakespeare, according to some historians, died on April 23rd. So I don't know what that means. I think there's something significant about all that, man.
I think that's called poetic license.
Exactly.
There you go.
All right. I just wanted to get that out there because I've been pretty good, Allan, even though the Cubs are playing great, and they're probably going to win the divion this year. Not to jinx. They're playing really well, but I've been keeping my mouth shut. But I thought on April 23rd, I have to at least
don't worry. As soon as fate intervenes and your spirit is crushed, we'll continue on. Let's put it this way. Probability is definitely on my side.
Okay, whatever. So, hey, but Jay, I said, Jay's coming in. We've got some good topics to discuss. But our great moments in building history, I thought this is going to be very interesting. We don't just celebrate great constructions made by human beings, Allan. Here on Tool Talk Radio, we're happy to celebrate great achievements in the animal kingdom. And so today we're going to, in Great Moments in Building History, we're going to talk about the Wood Buffalo National Park Beaver Dam. This is a beaver dam that is so big you can see it from outer space. So,
I mean, I think we've already highlighted the innovative nature of the beavers too, and also in terms of like the animal kingdom or just nature itself, we've also highlighted the power of mushrooms.
Oh yeah. So I mean, that's going to be actually interesting, and there's a lot of lessons we can learn from this construction. So we've got our must-have item of the week, and we've got quite a bit. But, Max, because we've got our good buddy Jay Hill coming in, we're going to shift things around a little bit. So let's find out what Allan did this week.
Oh, the humanity.
Jeez. You're saying that's a goat?
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds just like a human being being
Not the
tortured.
final shout, but the second to last one.
Okay, that's pretty awful, Max. I don't know why you chose that sound, but
I don't know why I chose that sound.
But Allan, it sounds like you've had a little high-tech stuff and a little
I've been a little high-tech and low-tech.
Okay.
We'll start with the panicky phone call of we have tours coming on Monday.
You always get these emergencies.
That
See,
is-
that's why I don't do the work you do. You always get these panic calls.
That's the Friday morning call. We have tours coming on Monday. I've only been telling this client for like a year. Let us redo the front of the building.
We have tours coming. Okay.
We have tours coming starting Monday.
Right. Okay.
So a huge shout out to our local big box stores.
Yeah.
And one major category that helps me out.
Okay.
They are absolutely merciless when it comes to clearancing things.
Merciless in a good way for us.
A good way for me, anyway.
Okay.
So here we are. We have a lot of building that is dirt plain. Seriously.
Yeah.
Happily, somebody has mulch on sale really, really cheap and will deliver.
Oh, that's a big plus because mulch is heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Takes up a lot of room.
And will deliver. And the other thing was that one of the big box stores had a delivery of hanging basket ferns. And all the hanging baskets came in broken.
Oh.
Well, what are you
It
gonna do?
happens.
Yeah,
Some pallet gets dropped at the
exactly
in the shipping lane.
Let's just say a quick deal in the back of the gardening department was struck, and an entire pickup truck full of ferns headed out to the job site.
May I say something, Allan?
Absolutely.
Because you're saying something that I think is critically important, especially if you're one of these guys out there like us that hates to pay full price for anything. Some people might not realize there's some negotiating ability even in the big box stores. If you go look at that big pile of whatever it might be and you say, look, man, I'll give you such and such, they might go to the store manager and say, boom, it's yours. So,
well,
that's a good skill
I headed
that you've got.
straight for the store manager and I said, how'd you like that entire cart to disappear?
There you go.
Before
Boom.
you have to throw it away. And, the answer was pull it around. Just back up. Let's load you up.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, hey, I'm sorry, but you triggered me. I just want to say one little thing. I was in a big box store and I needed a wheelbarrow.
Yep.
And wheelbarrows are funny. They could be $50 or $250. I mean,
depending upon brand, yeah.
So there was one that was really cool, and there was no price on it. And I asked the lady, and I said, "How much is that?" And she goes, She looked around. It wasn't in the system anymore. She goes, "I'll give it to you for $5." I said, "You're kidding me." I go, "Can I get the other one too?" She said, "Sure." So I got 2 wheelbarrows that would have been at least $150 each.
Yeah.
For 10. So ask questions, folks. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Allan has the right mindset. He's a seasoned big box store shopper, I can tell. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in.
So 8 hours later, the very plain front of this building went from, ho hum, no one will ever notice it, to having some massive curb appeal.
What did you do though? I mean, you didn't just stick mulch out there.
Basically, it's mulch and ferns.
Okay,
We got mulched into place, and then all of the places where you needed your eye to go, in went the ferns. I didn't need hanging baskets and all that, so they went in the dirt.
Oh, so the hanging baskets already had the ferns in them.
Yeah.
They did you a favor.
Oh, well, I did them a favor. I got rid of all these plants they couldn't sell because the baskets were broken.
Isn't that something, man?
So
you were in the right, talk about being in the right place at the right time.
I was a very happy person with a very happy client on Monday morning when everybody walked in and went, "It's so beautiful." And, a couple of hanging baskets full of some pretty flowers. But the biggest thing was it looked finished. It had a nice little mulch edge, had some little ferns, had some potted plants here and there, and it went from drab to just absolutely fab.
I think there's a lesson in that because, as a matter of fact, our house needs some of that. But it's sometimes you'll drive by a house and it looks fine. Like that's the word I would look. It's clean and everything, but there's something missing, and maybe
just
what's
hadn't got
missing is
popping.
Nothing. Yeah, there's no plants. There's no interest. Or there. I think plants too. They warm the. Like, it makes it a little cozier, makes it a little more, I don't know.
And then building number 2 needed some specialized lighting.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's, we'll talk about that when we come back.
Yeah, because you know how we preach here on Tool Talk Radio all about lighting. So, all right, so cool. So, Allan's, he was working outside. Mm-hmm. He had a good week to do it, too. The weather was great. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to continue the conversation when we come back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Oh, I get it, Mr. Krabs. You told us the paint was permanent so me and Patrick would be more careful and not get paint on anything.
Nah, I just like to mess with you.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I've just realized that Mr. Krabs is Max's spirit animal. I mean, he fits him to a T. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. It's a great day to do it. Today is a palindromic day. Folks, please go out there and do something noteworthy today. Today is 42024, April 20th, 2024. This is not going to happen again for 1,000 years. So why not go, 1,000 years from now, what will it be? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, it'll be 20, whatever.
It'll happen in March.
Okay, March. All
It'll
right.
happen in March in 1,000 years.
Okay, it'll happen in March in 1,000 years. So go out there and do something special. We also, just for kicks, April 23rd is kind of a unique day for me because I always like to, there's a lot happening in the baseball world. It's the 110th anniversary of Wrigley Field. Apparently, Max, April 23rd is also the day the first YouTube video was ever posted.
Yep, I'm by the co-founder of YouTube by the name of Jawed Kareem. It was a 19-second video of his visit to the zoo with elephants.
Okay, well, I thought we would take advantage of that early in the show, Allan, to remind people there's a lot of YouTube videos that you've posted.
Oh, my
and there's
gosh.
probably some YouTube videos they might be interested in that you want to tell us about. So,
well, they can pop over to tooltalkradio.com, and we are part of the YouTube podcast family. And you can actually check out years and years and years of Tool Talk Radio, Geek Tank Radio. We also have a variety of other shows on there.
Yeah.
Things like the Cooking Today show or Let's Go Plant Something.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of content on YouTube.
Yeah. No, we definitely, and it's fun to, and what Allan likes to report back on is all the different, it's always neat with when you post a show online because you get people from around the world listening. So,
well, we've picked up recently, of all places, Finland.
So what's going on in Finland? You think there's a military base there?
I'm sure there is. We seem to be hot wherever there's a good military base all the way around the world.
Okay.
So we're out there. So if you guys are listening outside of the Mid-South area, send us a text or some pictures. We'd love to see what you're up to, honestly, around the world.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you're one of those international, because we don't know. I mean, especially, wow, wouldn't it be cool to hear from one of those, some family in Australia living in that, what the heck is it?
Coober Pedy,
where it's
Oh,
120
it would be
degrees
awesome.
outside, and they're, because we reported on their
Yeah, show us the
their
opals
community.
in your walls and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, it's
And send us the opals in your walls.
Exactly. So that's I thought that was a noteworthy connection there, Alan. So April 23rd, a lot happening on April 23rd. So, all right, but Alan, there was a lot happening this week for you. So you were telling us of your landscaping. I would call it triumph. I mean, apparently it was a big success. With
it
your
looked
client.
beautiful, and the best thing was it wasn't shockingly difficult. It was just, follow a few basic ideas and get your curb appeal up.
And you were telling me that you saved. I mean, you literally saved hundreds of dollars on this.
We probably saved over $1,000 on this job.
There you go. Boom.
Looking at what was on sale and looking at what was on clearance.
There you go. That's why you hire Allan, because he gets it done, and he has a pickup truck. So.
Bless that poor little truck's heart.
Okay.
The next one fell, and I was thinking about you the whole time we did both of these. One of them was LED light tape.
Oh yeah, like almost like a rope lighting look.
Well, except it's thin. It's like tape. I mean, it's not like an
great.
old rope light. I mean, this is really thin tape with little LEDs imprinted in it.
And it sticks. Boy, that stuff is some serious glue on there.
Yeah, it did really good. And what we were doing was going around a crown molding at the top of a room. There's no other lighting in this room unless you add it, unless you bring it in.
Gives it that indirect kind of nice warm glow.
We went in and all the way around the top of the crown molding. And when you flip that thing on, I mean, it wasn't direct glaring in your eyes, but that room was lit up pretty well.
Nice. So, I mean, that's an easy, is it the remote controlled stuff? Or
it's got, well, they've got so many new different varieties. And should the homeowner decide if they want to change colors, it'll do colors, it'll do patterns, they can have disco night in that room now.
Oh, yeah. It's such a neat, and it's such a, it's not a huge commitment. If in 3 or 4 years you don't want it, you just peel it off. And it's but it looks good. It's clean. It's a really well lit room now, and it wasn't a horrible job. It just was really pretty. Just kind of take your time, fit it into the crown molding, and there you go. Now it looks really good. I had a question before you move on to your exterior application, because you just got me thinking about something. Because for one thing, those lights, I know it's true with the little flexible rope lighting, and I know it's true with this stuff too. It doesn't get hot. You can illuminate a good area, and it doesn't heat up. And it got me thinking. Back in the day, I mean, when we were using light bulbs, you've seen it. You go to back in the 80s, somebody might have a chandelier in their dining room. It could have 30 or 40 light bulbs in it. Well, what is that doing in the summer when you're running that thing? What does it feel like in the? You know what I mean? Think of the heat that we're saving.
Having worked in a building that had decorative light bulbs. Let me tell you, you got up on a ladder and had to do anything near the ceiling.
Yeah.
You could feel at least a 10-degree difference on your face versus your hands.
Oh, yeah. I remember that well.
2 or 3 feet down, and oh my gosh, that foot up there at the top of that ceiling, that 7 to 8 foot range right there, was just baking.
I got to feel like that's going to make a big impact. If en masse our light bulbs are cooler, I feel like that's a good thing. I mean, that's not a bad thing.
Well, we're about to get into air conditioning. We're about to get into air conditioning season, and not having to overcome your lighting,
right, is a
huge part of saving money, energy, being more green, having a better carbon footprint, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I am enjoying the LED technologies.
Absolutely.
The next one, we had a difficult one because we had to light up a walk path.
Ooh, now that can be cool though. Is this a public place or is this
this is the garden of a commercial building.
Okay.
And as a humorous thing, I had found a year ago, again, welcome to the big buck stores, they had the solar-powered path lights.
Yeah.
And as a rule, those generally don't work very well.
Yeah, I haven't always had success, but...
Well, but I stumbled on last year a different one, and it's actually a torchère. And as a humorous thing, when it comes on, it has a little diode in it that gives it what's called the flicker effect.
So it looks like it's actually
It looks like it's on fire.
Oh,
It looks
okay.
like it's on fire.
That's cozy.
All right. The secondary benefit to this is it's a bug zapper.
That was Max's first priority on that one.
And it's solar powered. And we've been using these. I've used these on properties now for over a year. And they are still working.
Right.
They still hold up good. And you can either mount them high or low, just depending upon how long you want to make the stake. So you can mount them close to the ground, or you can mount them 6 feet up in the air, because it just fits over a standard metal conduit tube.
So when it zaps it, does that drain more power from it, you think? Or what does it do? Does it make this, I've seen them before where they're loud and they zzz like
this one isn't a loud bug zapper, but for mosquitoes and small moths, the one thing I found that it works the best on was like clothing moths, grain moths.
See, I like moths.
The
You and I have
small
butt
guys.
heads on moths, but
Well, but these are the guys whose kids, I like moths. I don't like their kids. Because they're the ones that eat everything.
Yeah.
Eat holes in your clothes. Mom and dad don't do it. It's the teenagers.
But if they're outside, Alan, they're not hurting anybody.
Well, they can, especially if you're worried about bagworms and gypsy moths.
Oh,
and
I don't know what a bagworm is.
Bagworms are a type of gypsy moth that create the little bags in the trees that wipe out massive amount of leaves. So being able to control the moth population, keeping them out of your more delicate landscaping, it needs to be done. And this is a great way of doing it without pesticides.
Okay, and so you're satisfied with the results of this? Because
I'm very happy with them.
My thing with solar powered lights has usually just been that I found that maybe they didn't last long, or I found that because obviously you want to put them in a sunny spot, that they would almost like bake, like they start cracking and they,
Yeah, these cost a few dollars extra.
Okay.
And so these are not the cheapest things out there. But, much to my surprise, and this is all LED technology and new solar technology. So we are able to set up, an effective lighting system that looks very cool when it activates. Yeah, and you get the little extra benefit of taking out a few of the pests.
Well, one of the nice things, too, about a solar-powered, especially for your walkway, is if it breaks, you just pull it out of the ground.
You take that one out, right.
Right, you're not running a bunch of wires and everything. Does it make it through the night, you think?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Really?
Easily.
Okay.
Easily.
Because that's usually the thing. By about 3 in the morning, I'm guessing some of them are petering out or something. So would it be safe to say you've had a very successful week in terms of?
Oh, it's been a good week.
Okay, yeah, I love the deal like that you struck at the big box store, and like I said, just a reminder, folks, don't feel like you can't negotiate. I mean, don't walk up and think you're going to negotiate on a can of paint. Probably not, but yeah. Anything broken or used, it's on the table.
That clearance department is fabulous.
There you go. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I guess he's outside. We're going to visit with our good buddy Jay Hill from Big M Roofing and Remodeling.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I wonder if they're fraternal or identical tools.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass, and a man who always forgets that the microphones are on as soon as that light comes on, right, Max? So our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. Jay, is this thing working? What? I thought I hooked you up on the right microphone. Are you on?
I don't know, Emma.
You're good.
All right.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right. All right.
No problem. All right.
Memphis will never be the same.
No, this is a good day to call us. You can call us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline at 901-683-0989. It's also a good day to send pictures or get in touch if you've got anything to do with the exterior protection of your home, especially roofs. We're going to be talking to Jay all about that today. So, and Jay, you've been on some pretty interesting projects. Well, let's just jump into that, man. There we go. Jay, you had a really cool project, and we just posted it on our Facebook page. If you want to go to the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page and see what Jay, you finished the job this week, right?
Yeah, I finished it yesterday, as a matter of fact.
So tell us what this job is. It's really beautiful. It's a commercial. So wait, is it commercial or residential?
No, it's residential.
Okay. But it's a roof. It's like,
well, not
it's
exactly.
a functional roof. Yeah.
Not exactly. Yeah, just imagine one of the old buildings downtown that literally has a view of maybe an eighth of a mile away of the FedEx Forum.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it'd be a building like my dad had it when he was a cotton merchant when I was young there on Front Street. All those buildings are kind of the same down there at the end of the day. But this one on the back of it has a flat roof, actually a TPO roof. And they had just replaced it and wanted a deck on it desperately. So the gentleman that called me had this idea of building what we affectionately know now as a pedestal deck, where you literally can build with pedestals a deck on the top of this flat surface, and you can remove it when you need to if you ever had a problem with the roof. So in other words, you don't have, and the roof they had before, they literally had to tear down the whole deck and throw it away at a cost, of God knows what, in order to be able to fix the roof. So the pedestal deck is basically 2 foot by 2 foot tiles that are built on top of pedestals. Now, imagine a little 2-degree fall, if you will, off to the back of the roof so it can drain properly. But these pedestals are set up starting at the front of about 14 inches, I guess, high. And then they go all the way to the end where they're going to be almost 2 feet high because of the pitch of the roof.
Looks like a lot of adjustments, man. Holy smokes.
It takes a good while to get one down, but the real beauty is, again, if they ever have a problem with the roof, this was the whole idea. All you have to do is pull up a couple of the tiles that you need to, because they're literally just sitting on top of these pedestals, okay?
Like a floating floor.
That's really what it's like, and they're extremely easy to bring up. But the real cool thing is they were built, the tiles that he used were built with IPE wood. Some people call it Brazilian walnut, but it is the strongest wood on the planet. So this deck will, for all intents and purposes, or theoretically, last for 70, 75 years. It's extremely hard. Allan and I were talking about it just a moment ago. Literally, it can break your drill bits and your saw blades, and it's wood. You'd think it's steel sometimes. It's that freaking strong. I know you've posted a picture of it on the website. It is absolutely gorgeous. As I have done some more research, I see that a lot of municipalities around the country literally have used IPE to do decks in common ways, like imagine the boardwalk, for instance, something like that up in New Jersey. They use this type of wood because it is so durable and long-lasting.
Yeah, and it looks good. And also, what I liked, because I was talking to you last night about this, Jay, I said, well, do you have to do anything to it? And you said, literally, you don't do anything.
You don't.
Leave
you
it.
Absolutely don't. Now, if you wanted to keep the sheen that it has when you put it on new, you can rub a little oil on it from time to time. Otherwise, just like any wood, I mean, you'll lose that luster of it, but it will not change the hardness or the durability of it at all.
Because it's interesting, because when you think of these commercial roofs, especially on these older buildings, I've always thought, man, there's such a design flaw here. We've been, Allan, you and I have been on roofs in Cooper Young.
Oh yes,
and it's like it's to me it looks like it's a swimming pool, Jay. It's like it's a little. You go up there, it's coated in this rubberized roofing, and it's got walls all around and 1 or 2 drain. I don't know. It looks like a lot of work. I'm like, how do you keep the water out of that? It's
there was a job several years back we did over in Arkansas, and it was one of these like a turret around the entire building. They had the little raised brick wall and a flat roof, and the entire thing was coated in tar. And we got called in because they had a perpetual drip in the building, and they thought it was from the AC. So we got up there and we started looking around in the attic, and we realized that this drip was coming from the roof. So we got out, went up on the roof, and when we got up there, flat level with the top of this roof, and Jay, how this building survived, I have no idea. And there was duckweed. There was like water standing about a foot deep on the roof of this building.
I remember you talking about this maybe last year.
And it looked like a beaver dam in the middle
Yeah.
with all this pine needle. And honestly, I waded out in this thing and started pulling this stuff loose. And when I got enough of it loose, enough water pressure, this thing only had a single drain in the dead center of the roof.
And boy, I bet that thing
Oh, that
was like
thing
a fire
sprayed
hose,
water
man.
20 feet out from the building when we got it freed up. But you talk about just absolutely dangerous. Not, the proper care of that roof is absolutely integral to this building surviving. Because that much weight.
Yeah, another point.
It's got to be crushing that building.
Yeah,
That's another good point. The weight, holy smokes!
I was going to say that I had a customer of mine who actually is in Ohio, and we did a big commercial job for him over in Blytheville, Arkansas, and he actually called me and ordered some TPO for his son to build a koi pond with. So that's what was going on there. I mean, it's the same type of thing. I mean, you can literally make a swimming pool out of it. It's really, I guess, like a vinyl swimming pool liner would be, if you will, but a lot stronger. Stuff will absolutely hold water.
Wait, what does TPO stand for?
It's basically just a pliable application that you put on top of it. It looks like vinyl.
I know what it is. I thought it was an acronym for something. TPO.
We just call it TPO.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's that rubber, because I was going to say.
EPDM is the rubber.
So, Jay, since you started roofing, I have to imagine technology has evolved a lot for roofing, because I remember back in the day, it was a lot of tar and it was a lot of whatever else. So now.
There's still people that are using a lot of tar.
Really?
Yeah, we're the last resort sometimes when people call us. I've seen in this town, over next to Melrose High School, a roof with 7 layers of shingles.
Really?
I mean,
talk about the weight. And
it's that thick.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, the rafters were bowing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people don't understand why. Well, you can't just stick another one on top of it. Like, do you understand how? Have you ever picked up just a bag of shingles?
Yeah,
That's
68
a
pounds
bag
up to 80
of shingles.
Yeah,
is 68 to 80 pounds.
Breaks your back.
So if you want to be impressed with your people doing your roof job, remember they're toting 80-pound parcels up and down and back and forth. But you think about that. All right, that 80-pound bag doesn't cover all that much. No, that's the scary part. I mean,
No, it's a third of a square. It takes 3 of those to do 10 by 10.
Yes. So you're looking at 240 pounds for every 10 feet of roof.
right.
And that's one layer.
Yeah, no,
and that
it's a
doesn't
lot.
count the underlayment. That doesn't count the decking. That doesn't count. That's just the roofing alone.
Well, Jay, I was going to say, because, this job, you could say, I mean, it is a residential job, but it is on a building that's more typically like a commercial building. And so what I think is cool about this project, folks, and I really encourage you to go to our Facebook page and check it out. It's the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. It's really a beautiful thing. But basically what you've done, Jay, is you took a surface that is more or less not usable and you turned it into really just like a featured part of the home. Because now the one nice thing is, you step out onto this deck, you're elevated. I don't know how many stories you're up, but you have a great view. And now you've got a surface that is going to last and it's low maintenance too. So.
And I've never said this to you guys. I literally mean this. If you ever get an opportunity, love to actually let you see this thing. This is a real kind of pinnacle in our business career, if you will. This thing is stunning.
So if somebody's out there and they've got a commercial situation, or if they've just got a building, maybe they got one of those brownstones downtown.
Yeah.
You might want to start looking at your roof in a different way. Jay can not only get the roof lining set up, you can come and turn it into a really cool, livable space. So
absolutely.
So, Jay, how do people get in touch with you at Big M Roofing?
Best way is just call us, 901-484-5645. And of course, you can always go to our website, which is bigmroofingandremodeling.com, where we have just all of our information, all of our credentials, and a big gallery for you can see for you to be able to see some of the projects that we've done around town recently.
Yeah, I have to imagine this one's going to make it into the gallery
This is
very
going to be
soon.
page one.
All right. Hey, you're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to continue visiting with Jay Hill, and then we're going to learn all about the, what is this thing called? The Janka hardness scale. Yeah. How's that for a tease?
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I'm always thinking one step ahead, like a carpenter that makes stairs.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
If he's only thinking one step ahead, Allan, I'm not hiring that guy. You got to have a bigger vision, Andy. You're a moron. Anyway, welcome back to. Well, that's not nice. He's never had to work with his hands. He's spoiled, whatever. Welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. You can call, and of course, our special guest, Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. So it's a perfect day to call us on the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989. And if you want to see what Jay looks like, you can check him out. He's on the one of the studio cams here at the News Talk 98.9 The Roar's Facebook page and the News Talk 98.9 The Roar's X page. And we're coming up, we're a few days away from April 23rd. Apparently, April 23rd has a lot of historic significance. It's a good time to get on YouTube and look up all the things that happened on April 23rd, including something else you mentioned off the air, Max.
Well, you'd be happy to hear, Joe, that on your birthday and on Shakespeare's birthday / death day, it was also the day that New Coke was released.
Now, Max, that was before he was probably born, right?
I know about it, but I didn't experience it.
Do you remember that? So, Allan,
you missed nothing.
Oh, shockingly, do I remember that?
It's like 1985, I think.
I worked on a resort. Oh my gosh.
I remember
the revolution that took place and the number of people. All right, you remember Smokey and the Bandit with the Coors Run? We had that same thing in Texas where everybody was going down to Mexico to get
real
Coca-Cola versus whatever that stuff is they released that day.
We went to Colorado to get real Coors beer before, so I understand.
Oh, you made the run too. Okay.
Actually, to Texas.
Yeah.
We lived here in Memphis.
Yeah.
This was during the Cola Wars, Max. You can't imagine the Pepsi and Coke. They were going tooth and nail.
Yeah.
Pepsi hired Michael Jackson to do commercials. They were spinning, but then Coke said, "Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to change the formula."
They did,
and everybody hated it. And then 6 weeks later, they said
changed it back.
So, was this on purpose, Allan, or do you think this was just lucky? Because then suddenly, when they brought it back, it became bigger than ever. So,
according to the interviews on the Food Network, it was utterly and completely a absolute tragedy. They managed to yank victory out of its jaws.
Okay, I feel like it was
accidental. A complete disaster, but they didn't count on basically how visceral people were going to respond to changing something that had been the same for 100 years.
I'm not trying to break your brain, but isn't old Coke technically new Coke back then because the oldest Coke had cocaine in it?
Well, they had to get rid of that ingredient.
That was cocaine Coke.
Yeah.
That was why it was called Coca-Cola, and it was supposed to be very invigorating. And that goes back to your cereal wars and Battle Creek back with the development of all the cereals and Dr. Harvey Kellogg. And America was going through, a great revolution of products coming out. So, but the whole New Coke Pepsi war was billions of dollars at stake. Was just amazing.
A big deal.
I'm sorry, when you mentioned the Kellogg, Dr. Kellogg and everything, I can't help think of the unique ways of using yogurt that I'm not going to mention on the air.
Well, let's move along, Max.
Let's just say, if you haven't seen the movie The Road to Wellville with Matthew Broderick, I highly advocate, go look it up. and watch it on your streaming
Okay,
service.
I know exactly what he's talking about, and at that note, we're
gonna
going to
move
shift
on.
back to home improvement, Allan. So thanks, Max, for that one. Although I will say, in parting, I have my morning Diet Coke every morning. That's my caffeine
That's your
instead of
caffeine.
coffee. And if somebody
Yeah.
took that away, yeah, I'd be pretty upset,
man,
too.
people
so.
got cranky.
Okay.
It was a pretty amazing time.
Well, Jay, we're here to talk. We're not here to talk about new Coke. We're here to talk about
You wouldn't know it.
Yeah, but one thing that's interesting, Jay, because we always we're always showcasing the exterior protection of your home. That's what you're all about: roofing, gutters, siding, windows. But you just completed a really cool project where essentially, folks, if you're just tuning in, Jay, it's a residential building, but it's structured more like a commercial building. We've seen a lot of these old buildings where there's a flat roof, and usually you just see a lot of vents and wires, and it's not really a place you would use. You converted it into like a really beautiful deck. So you combine your roofing expertise with decking and everything. And
yeah, and I tell you what, let me be real clear about what it is. It's one of the old buildings downtown on, let's say, a main street, if you will, that was a commercial building way back in the day. Mm-hmm. A lot of cotton merchants down there, which my dad was one. And it's been converted to condos. But it's got a back section that's 60 by 40
with a great view.
Unbelievable. I mean, you're literally looking straight at FedEx Forum.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Yeah, and so you had to make a surface that because if you're thinking about it, I've seen these things go wrong. There's a perfect example, Jay. I was somebody called me. They wanted me to build them basically, for all intents and purposes, a second-story deck. But whoever built the house, I hate to say it, it was basically a flat roof. It came off the side of the home, and above it was a deck. Well, they did not do it correctly at all. The thing was rotting away, and part of the problem was the drainage didn't work well, Allan, and there was no access to that roof. And so 20 years down the road, they're having issues with it leaking and everything. So you have to think of this thing comprehensively. You do,
because on a flat roof, I mean, you can't have any screws or nails in it. That's the challenge. But it doesn't mean that you can't have a deck,
right?
And that's what we were able to prove with this. This gentleman literally had the idea that he and a few friends were going to knock this out in a few weekends. This started pre-COVID, and here's a little tidbit about inflation. By the way, the tiles, the 12 by 12 IPE tiles that this deck consists of, were $27 at COVID. Okay, and that's what got it going. Everybody had time to do stuff back then, right? And we ended up being about 50 tiles short. They're $54 today, just in 4 years. Mind-blowing the difference in what things cost.
At least he stocked up and he had them, so you didn't have to do all of it.
We had a bunch. There's no question about it. But the stuff that we needed post-COVID was darn near twice as much as it was COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing you both have made a huge point of, I want to reiterate, is drainage.
Yeah, well, look what happened with you. You had a swimming pool
drainage.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw in a weird suggestion for folks. If you're looking at buying, especially an older building, or basically anything these days, newer buildings, I'm looking at the ground. Older buildings, obviously the ground is working, but you never know what somebody else has done above you. When you have a nice little light rainy day, get you a big umbrella and a chair, go sit down and watch for a few minutes.
You've said
and
that.
See what's happening. Because you will figure out in just a couple of minutes.
In other words, watch where the water is going.
Exactly. Where is all of that water
Yeah.
coming off? Where is it going to? Am I buying the house that all the water in the neighborhood winds up in my backyard, or am I buying the one on the hill? Or in this case, when you start looking at these different roofing ideas, especially when the building's been there more than 60 years,
sure,
you're at least two or three roofs into this thing's history, and you just don't know what they've done. Because I ran into one where they had put a roof on it, but they had put the line between the angle of the roofs, they'd put it in backwards.
Oh, perfect.
And I just watched Jay go, "Oh, how many times
Job
have you
security.
seen that?"
Oh yeah.
But people don't understand if it's not put down in the right order. Now you just created a highway for the water, as opposed to the highway to get the water off of the roof.
Yeah. I tell you what, that really speaks to the point that I think we always try to make on the show, and that is how important it is that you vet your contractor. I mean, make sure of the credentials that they possess, because I see stuff all the time that would just blow your mind.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're there, Jay. You're there. You're certified. You've got qualified installer. You know, that's a huge thing. You're insured. So, hey, Jay, before we hit the break, tell people how to reach you with Big M Roofing and Remodeling.
901-484-5645. That's 901-484-5645. Or you can go to the website, which is bigmroofingandremodeling.com. But give me a call. I'll personally answer the phone. If you've got a project you'd like to talk about, I'd love to talk about it with you.
Yeah, and I always encourage call during important sporting events and interrupt Jay.
Stop it now.
Okay. Hey, well, I teased it. We didn't get to it. We're going to, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about the Janka hardness scale. It's very interesting information all about hardwood. So you're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com, and our pal Max over there behind the glass, and our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. It's a great day to call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989. And also, there's a lot going on. We're celebrating April 23rd because, I don't know, I like April 23rd. There's a lot of, it's the day Wrigley Field, let's just say it. It was called Weigman Park back when it opened, Allan, but it opened 110 years ago. And but also it's Shakespeare's birthday. We've learned a lot of bad things happen. Like that's the day they released New Coke. April 23rd is the day the first YouTube video was posted. Apparently, it's Shirley Temple's birthday. There's a lot of things that just happen. Everybody likes Shirley Temple.
Yeah, the good ship lollipop, man.
Yeah. But so we're having fun out there. If you know of anything else happening, I guess today there was a lot of bad things that happened on April 20th, so we may gloss over
Columbine and Hitler's birthday.
Yeah, thanks, Max.
We'll move on. Thank you.
Yeah, but maybe we'll celebrate the 23rd. So, but Jay, you're here with us, and it's cool because we're talking about a really neat project that you had this week where you finally got it wrapped up. We posted a video. I mean, we posted a picture on the Tool Talk Radio Facebook page. Really beautiful roof. It's basically you converted a space that was, I would say, not very usable. It's a roof of a kind of an old brownstone downtown, and you made a really gorgeous deck up there. And we wanted, you guys are very well-rounded. I mean, Big M Roofing and Remodeling lives up to its name. You guys take on quite a few interesting projects.
That's funny that you say that because this gentleman, and who, I'm not going to say his name out loud, obviously, but I want to say in case he's listening, we probably couldn't have even pulled this off without his assistance. This guy's brilliant. He's actually a computer programmer, and he had bought everything that he needed to try to get this done himself. And he kind of coached us along as we were going through the learning curve of getting this thing down. And now we've got that feather in our cap, so to speak. So, but he had tried 5 other contractors, and nobody would touch it.
Really?
Nobody would touch it.
Interesting. Keep that in mind, folks. So, yeah. Because there's a lot of dynamics, as we said, with roofing and remodeling. This is sort of interesting, though, because when we were talking, Jay, you talked about how you you use Brazilian walnut, which is ranked as the hardest wood in the world on the Janka hardness scale, JANKA. And I'm like, okay, Jay, can you talk about the Janka hardwood scale when you come on the show tomorrow. And it's kind of interesting. He printed out a chart for us, Alan. I'm looking at this. There's a lot of woods where I thought some woods were harder than others, and apparently they're not.
Is balsa at the bottom?
Yes.
Just going to get it rip the Band-Aid off?
Is the very,
I don't even see it
bottom.
on the chart. I think
it's not on this chart, but I've seen it on charts. It is the very, 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 very bottom.
Below cardboard,
I think balsa gets kind of a bad rap.
It's useful for school projects. I mean, how many?
Oh, it is greatly useful for a
cosplay.
Massive amount of projects.
It's airplanes for kids, man. I remember flying those little balsa model planes.
We use a lot of it for testing.
Yeah,
we use a lot of it for testing designs on things before you actually go make the real one. I'd rather cut it out of balsa and make sure it fits before I go tackle that big old chunk of Brazilian rosewood that cost me, $80 a foot.
Right.
Versus I want to make sure this baby's right. Yep. So
before you guys tuck into this discussion, can I give you all a little bit of a fun fact about what the name Janka comes from?
Okay.
It comes from the Austrian wooden researcher by the name of Gabriel Janka, who standardized it in 1922.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there any dark history with him? Is he just a boring old nice guy that likes to study wood?
Well, he was designing flooring.
Okay, fine, good enough.
He was a guy designing.
Some
flooring.
people are infatuated with superheroes. And then some people are infatuated with wood.
That makes me think of that makes me think of that episode of Parks and Recreation where Ron Swanson was freaking out about the unknown carpenter.
Yeah, no, it's like so. I just asked because sometimes you find out that these guys had a colorful history. Let's just say. So,
his big thing was pitting in flooring.
Okay,
and he noticed that different flooring seemed to hold up differently. So he came up with a test where he would take a steel ball and see what it took to press the steel ball into a little mark. And the more effort it took to push in the steel ball, the better the flooring was.
Right. So today, the Janka test is basically measured in pound force.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, it's this simple. Allan's right on top of it. The Janka test really measures the force that's required to embed this 44-inch steel, not 44-inch, 0.44-inch steel ball into the wood by half its diameter.
I was going to say, how deep do you got to get it?
You got to get it halfway there.
Okay.
The test is one of the best measures of the ability of wood species to withstand all types of weather and wear. So the wood, as we said, that we used is at the very top of the list of Brazilian walnut, or IPE as it's affectionately known, with a 3680 pound force rating. All the way down, for instance, if you're looking at the scale, the balsa wood is not on this list, but I've seen it. It is the very first one. It's like 0.15. It's nothing. It's just nothing. 150, if you will. So, Joe, I'm sure you want to talk a little bit about some of the other woods that we use a lot.
I was about to say, it's funny because you and I are thinking exactly the same. So Brazilian walnut, that's great, 3680. Mm-hmm. That's a lot. Yellow pine, which we use quite a bit in construction, I just used it yesterday, is 690. And so you're like, well, shoot, that's not very good. However, you want some flexibility. It's lighter. It's easier to cut. I'm not burning through 20 saw blades trying to cut through this stuff. I mean, there's a reason that we would frame a house with pine.
Well, and then you have some surprising things like your pine or even a hard maple. Is still softer than a bamboo floor.
I tell you what blows me away is like yellow pine at 690, and again the IP at 3680. It's 6 times stronger than a 2x4 stud.
Yes,
I mean that's mind blowing.
Now I did have a question about that though. So because one thing though, like I said, for me, flexibility is important. Mm-hmm. Well, Jay, I do wood turnings, and so I'm looking here. Maple seems to be right about in the middle, which is what I like.
Maple's good.
It's a little more forgiving when you're cutting something. I've tried turning really, really hard woods, and I don't like it because you make one little slip and it'll just knock a big chunk out of it. And same with we've seen oak. If you try to put a screw in, you can't just drill a screw into oak. You have to pre-drill the hole. Right. Even then, you have to hope that it doesn't split the wood. So The disadvantage with certain hardwoods is that they can split, right?
Well, that's literally what we had to do. It's funny you mentioned that with these tiles that we made this deck with. Obviously, all those holes had to be pre-drilled.
Sure.
You'd absolutely. Plus, again, it would. I've never seen wood do this. It was breaking drill bits and knocking teeth off of saw blades.
Yeah.
I have kind of a curious question coming from the building perspective. Are there some stones that are softer than even the hardest woods that are to where they're easier to drill in?
Yes, I will tell you unequivocally.
Limestone.
Yes, most
Especially
of your
if you wet it
slates,
down, right?
sandstones, almost any of your sedimentaries are going to be softer than even mesquite. Now, see that one's kind of a fun one because nobody thinks of mesquite bushes as being all that hard.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you clear some land in Texas, you will discover how fast you can break some. You can chew up some saw blades, tear up a chainsaw, or wreck your sawzall.
Yeah,
because mesquite is hard.
That's why it's great for smoking. It lasts a long time.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But it's a little surprising when you go through these ratings and you look at how well something holds up. And in deference to Max, a lot of Asian construction is still around hundreds of years later because bamboo is not soft. That is some durable stuff.
Yeah. But it's all got to be the right application. You don't always need the hardest wood.
That's exactly the point right there, Joe. Right. So for framing, yellow pine's absolutely perfect because it's actually interwoven with the framing itself.
Mm-hmm. And I've had to bend. This is true. You have to sometimes bend 2x4s or a 2x8 into your wheel, and the flexibility comes in handy. So, and the lightweight, but it's interesting. I'm going to definitely save this Janka hardness scale. I knew there was obviously different hardnesses of wood, but I didn't know that it was this easy to calculate them because it's important to know this stuff, especially if you're about to spend, like you said, Allan, $80 a board foot or something on some of this exotic stuff. So.
Well, and again, I'm going to throw in, when you are dealing with high-end stuff like this, you definitely don't want to waste it. You definitely don't want to break it. Don't be afraid to make a mock-up.
Yeah. Yep.
Do not be afraid to go get some cheap pine or balsa or lighter weight stuff that you don't, that doesn't cost you the same thing. And if you've never done a project before, take a shot at it. Give it a try. It's no harm, no foul.
No, absolutely. So, well, Jay, this is good stuff. We'll probably refer to it before we get out of here today, the Janka hardness scale. But, Jay, this is in your honor. You're all about water management.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, in your honor, in our great moments in building history, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Wood Buffalo National Beaver Dam in Alberta, Canada. You talk about creatures that know about water control. Mm-hmm. How do you like that? You're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And now for the finishing touch.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Jay uses the term finishing touch, and that baits the hook.
Okay.
In the last segment.
All right. I don't know what you're talking about, Max, but Jay, of course, knows who that man was that was speaking, right? Jay?
I have no idea.
You're a Spider-Man fan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Whatever. Mysterio. Anyway, welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. What a disjointed rejoint. Max, I didn't understand what your comment had to do with.
It was because of
Jay
the fact
didn't
that
understand mine.
It was because of the fact that Jay Hill mentioned the word finishing touch in the last segment, so that's why I had to do something with the finishing touch.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, listen, I don't remember what I said 30 seconds ago. Good job, Max.
Thanks, Max. Okay. Whatever. Let's get it together, you guys. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry, and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com, the confusing Max over there behind the glass, and our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. It's a good day to get in touch with us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline. You can call or text us or even send pictures at 901-683-0989. Maybe this is a good thing. Jay's been teaching us all about the Janka hardwood scale, which is the hardness scale, which is basically measuring the hardness of different woods. He brought us a printout of it. I've been looking at this. It's interesting when you compare the hardness of woods. And apparently, Jay, you said it's really easy to just go online if you're curious where you're where your walnut table stands or where.
Yeah, you can get a Jenga scale online. There's several people that have them. It's really nice, man.
And don't assume that because I'm building, you're building something and it's like, oh, I got to get the hardest wood possible. No, not always. Sometimes you might need the medium or the softer wood. So.
And is there a way to do the Jenga test yourself? Like, is there a machine that you could use it with?
No, I mean,
yes,
you'd have to have
any
a big
form
press.
of hydraulic press.
Go get yourself a $5,000 hydraulic press and a ball
any form
bearing.
of hydraulic
and
press
a
will work.
.44 diameter steel ball.
Yep.
That would be like a pinball. Maybe slightly smaller than a pinball.
Okay, get yourself a pinball, so a
There you
large
go.
ball bearing. So, all right, I don't know if in a minute we're going to get to our great moments in building history, which we specifically picked in your honor, Jay. Before we do that, though, I don't know how often in his line of work our good buddy Larry Brown with Brown Refrigeration needs to refer to the Jenga hardness scale, but you never know. I mean, he's dealing with chemistry, he's dealing with metal, he's dealing with a lot of other environmental things, so maybe not, Allan. I think
but it is sure about to be his season. So.
However, I will say this: if you have any wood in your home, which we all do, Larry Brown services are critical because he is all about the HVAC is all about the proper conditioning of air, including the humidity, which your if your house isn't properly humidified, your table is going to have something to say about it. All your wooden
that veneer
furniture
can do something bad to you.
But we love Larry Brown. He is always at the cutting edge of technology, and he's actually always looking ahead to what's down the pike because let's face it, HVAC technology, just like roofing technology, Jay, it's constantly evolving, and you have to anticipate where it's going. And so he wants your home to be running as efficiently as possible. And so you need that kind of expertise. Having an HVAC team on your side is kind of like having that trusted mechanic. You don't just you see your mechanic once a year or so to get your car tuned up. Well, it's the same with your HVAC system. You need to have regular visits. They're very affordable, but get them in there. They can anticipate problems that are coming, down the pike and help you keep your HVAC system running as efficiently as possible. They also work with Train systems, which are state of the art, and Train is just the top of the line, and Larry is exclusively a Train dealer. He's also they've incorporated the Remy Halo system into all of their work because the Remy Halo system, of course, uses the UV power of the sun to basically create cleaning particulates in your HVAC system. So all the air coming out of your HVAC system is not just clean, it's cleaning every surface that it hits. We love Larry Brown. We love the culture that they've created, and they answer their phones. I love that.
Yes, they do.
Get in touch with them. You can call them directly at 901-362-1881 or go to their website, brownref.com. All right, well, Max, I've been looking forward to this all day.
And now, great moments in building history.
So, Jay, here at Tool Talk Radio, of course, we always love when you join us for our great moments in building history. This one, it seemed like it was right in your wheelhouse. It's all about water management, and so, folks, this is not a structure. I guess you can call it a structure, right, Allan, or a construction.
Oh, it is a construction. It's definitely a structure.
This is not. This is the first one I think we've done that is not made by human beings. This is we love beavers around here. They're funny animals. They work hard. They're carpenters. They're natural. My daughter said my spirit animal is a beaver because he's a carpenter and all that, but. If you go to Alberta, Canada, and you visit the Wood Buffalo National Park, you will find what they think is the world's largest beaver dam. This thing is it's in meters, but I think the math comes out to it's a half mile across.
Yeah.
It's twice the size of the Hoover Dam. This thing is so big you can see it from outer space. And based on NASA photographs and basically the way they, map things out, this thing is it's at least 25 years old. Somewhere between 1990 and now, this thing showed up on their radar.
Well,
but
it only got big enough somebody saw it.
But
Yeah.
it's had a really positive effect on the environment. Beavers are here for a reason. They do a job that is important And so it's all about water management. It's all about, keeping the ecosystem running at peak efficiency. But, Allan, I want to just say one thing before we jump into this, because I know you're pretty well versed in this. But the history of beavers in America or really in this continent is pretty interesting. There was a time they were almost hunted out of, they not to extinction, but close, because their pelts are very warm. They make great coats. But also, they had a way that they relocated the beavers back in, I want to say the 50s, wasn't it,
Yes.
Max? And that I think it was a little mean, but they parachuted 76 beavers into Idaho.
They did.
And they dropped them in a crate, and they show them, it's better than killing them. They just relocate them, and apparently they've been thriving up north.
That reminds me of that police officer in Bartlett during Christmas that transported the beaver out of like one of those like carts or something and back into the river.
St. Francis Hospital, wasn't that recently? Mm-hmm. So, but if you want to go down a funny rabbit hole, go on YouTube and put relocating the beavers from the 1950s. It's pretty cool footage. But anyway, that's where I wanted to kick off with that.
And then I wanted to let you all know, too, that this beaver dam has been known to the media for about 16 years because there was a Dutch-born landscape ecologist named John Tye who first discovered this, like you said, when he was comparing and contrasting NASA Landsat satellite images to modern-day Google Earth ones. And they said, wait a second, what is this?
Yeah. But I got thinking about it, Allan. When you watch how a beaver dam is built, okay, a half mile across, that is some serious. I mean, they're chewing each log, they're patting mud into it. I mean, that's a lot of work, man.
Okay, I'm gonna.
What else are they gonna do?
Yeah. Well, all right. All right. I'm gonna see your beaver dam, and I'm gonna bring up your boxwood fence.
Okay, talk to me.
Because there's a lot of crossover here. Of a lot of people redoing their yards, putting in fences. One of the biggest mistakes they make is they put the boxwood fence in all the way to the ground.
You just triggered Jay. Yeah. They don't let the water go underneath.
He's already shaking his head. And exactly what happens. All right, now, the beavers, when they go to build a dam, they find the spot where they're going to work. Mm-hmm. And they usually choose pretty good. And it's usually kind of a little bit of a place where they can get a little bottleneck going. So they're not having to build too big. Mm-hmm. And they start with kind of piling up muds and stones and sticks. And what also happens in the beaver dam is as material flows over this, they've built kind of a material trap.
Boom.
So the leaves, and that's where your gutters kick in and everything else, the leaves and stuff begin to flow through this and get caught and become part of the webbing.
Yeah.
So when your gutters aren't cleaned, you're filling them up with soil and leaves and stuff like that, and they don't work anymore. Your boxwood fence, those little breaks in between the fence fill up really easily with cut grass, and now you've created your own little beaver dam to trap the water in your property.
Right.
As opposed to what the beavers are trying to do, which is, build their own sanctuary.
Right, exactly.
And I will note, too, that for the audience, it's kind of a common misconception. There's a difference between the beaver dam and the beaver lodge. Many people confuse the lodge, the dam for the lodge.
Oh, that's true. They don't live in the.
They don't live in the dam.
Right. Yeah, they live in a little hut, but the dam creates the perfect environment because it slows the water down. Mm-hmm. The fish thrive. It gives them It gives them plenty of food sources, and it steadies the waters. And their lodges are pretty fancy too. I mean, for an animal.
They're also very comfortable, so it can be 30 below outside and be nice and toasty warm on the inside.
Right.
The biggest thing about the beaver dams is they're also not a single dam.
Okay, what do you mean?
Beavers usually build a series of dams. So you usually kind of have the interior dam, and then you have like the main dam, and then they'll move a little further out and possibly have even a third one out there to help break up when it rains.
Right.
So they don't flood. They don't lose one of them. The other thing that happens here is they're only so tall.
What, the dams or the beavers? So.
Both.
Oh.
They're only so tall. So they don't build up, 30-foot deep of water.
Yeah, they're not flooding the whole neighborhood, but
No, I think he said it's only like a meter or so of water.
yeah. Well, it's pretty
right?
interesting, and actually, we have lessons we can learn about water management from the noble Beaver. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio, not the Animal Kingdom radio show. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Brought to you by Fishy Sam's Organic Aftershave. Let's face it, men, there's nothing more attractive to a woman than a tough guy who works hard. And there's no one who works harder than deep sea fishermen. So before you head off for that big date, spray on a blast of Fishy Sam's Organic Aftershave, and you can hit the town smelling like the inside of a cargo hold on a North Atlantic tuna boat. Nothing screams testosterone like the smell of decaying fish. Man up with Fishy Sam's Organic Aftershave.
I mean, you live by that mantra, don't you, Jay? I mean, that's how you met your wife.
I need
right?
some help, but not that kind.
Okay, I don't know. I think the logic stands, and we do have great sponsors. I'm always proud of them. Now that commercial's over, we have, 20 seconds left?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back to very good, Max. I appreciate you digging that one, digging that old old gem out.
I mean, fishing it up.
Yeah. Welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com. Our pal Max over there behind the glass, and the very manly, masculine-smelling Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. I don't know. Maybe roofing tar has that same effect, right,
I'm glad
Jay?
we got good ventilation.
Okay.
It's probably not even
TPO.
close.
It's TPO.
TPO.
That's it. TPO is a type of tuna.
There you go. You can call or text us at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989. It's a good day to do it. There's a lot on the table that we're not going to rehash. If you want to find out what was on the table, go back and listen to some of our some of our past shows, right, Allan? I mean, let's go to tooltalkradio.com, and there is years, and we're getting close to over half a decade. We're going to get closer to a decade worth of.
Between
material.
here and Geek Tank, we have hundreds of hours of content.
Thousands. We're at that point.
Yeah, we're up there.
Okay. But hey, Jay, before the break, in our great moments in building history, it's sort of an interesting, this is a first here on Tool Talk Radio. We're not talking about a man-made structure. We're talking about a structure made by beavers. The world's largest, at this point that we know of, I mean, maybe there's bigger ones out there that they haven't discovered yet, but the Wood Buffalo National Park Beaver Dam in Alberta, Canada, is believed to be the largest beaver dam in the world. And we were just saying, to me, it's just fascinating that these animals have this instinct to change the environment around them. And really, it's apparently, within reason, beavers are very essential to the ecosystem right now. I mean, there's a lot of benefits that have happened in this park because of that.
It makes me think of a quote by the Dutch guy I mentioned, John Ty. He said, "Of course, I'm not very positively minded about our own future on the planet, but I am an optimist about the beavers."
Yeah, they get they're hardworking, but they well, for one thing, it's water management. You said something about desert, right?
Well, the one thing we're discovering in areas that are slightly more arid than the Mid-South, we have plenty of water. As a matter of fact, we have a surplus of water, and as you and I point out, water is always the enemy. Now,
not when you're thirsty.
Yeah, well, now, the further west you get and the less water you have rampantly running around, this is where beaver dams really get important because they create micro ecosystems and they store a lot of water on the land.
Right. Yeah.
So, when humans do it, we go build Hoover Dam. We go build gargantuan things that flood miles and miles and miles.
Which has its own repercussions. Yeah. We heard about some of those lakes that turn toxic because cause earthquakes and strange things, and water goes weird places. When you look at basically how nature wants to control water, a beaver dam can absorb a massive amount of water. They hold up for a while. The families, as they grow,
They're constantly digging new little canals and setting up new areas. So they can take an area that's fairly arid and hold, honestly, millions of gallons of water on the land.
And it waters the land. That makes the land around it very fertile. And also, they said that if there's wildfires, it basically stops when it hits the Beaver area because it's too wet over there. And I mean, that's cool.
Well, there you have a little sanctuary. You don't have any trees out in the middle of it to burn up. The other thing that they're really good at is, of course, chewing.
Yeah.
And they gnaw up, a lot of areas. So when you're looking for cleared ground, area that, beavers live in is remarkably, goes from woodland to grassland very easily.
Yeah.
How high on the hog do you think beavers can chew into a wood on the Jenka hardness scale?
Oh, good. Jay, have you researched that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got that data with me now.
Could they chew through some Brazilian walnut? I mean, that's...
I don't know. My guess is maybe, but I don't know. Again, think about it. It's breaking drill bits and saw blades.
Yeah,
so maybe not.
I'd be curious what their maximum chewing...
They can go at least to 1820 and take out pecan and walnut and hickory.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so looking at our list here, that's a good 2/3 of the way up.
I'm just looking at trees I know that I have seen beavers take out.
What we need to find out, are there beavers in Brazil? Because your hardest woods, historically, at the top 5 are all Brazilian woods.
Never heard of Amazonian beavers.
Okay, maybe that's it.
It might be a North American thing.
Yeah,
I don't think we got them down there.
They can't handle the hardwood, so
the grub was no good.
It's probably heavy
stuff
too.
To eat down there.
Okay.
They'd find something to do. So just you got to look at these guys. They're smart. They're intelligent. They're territorial, and they kind of. And the other thing is they don't really want much to do with you.
No, they're just happy to go do their thing.
Yeah, this is not something you're going to find rummaging through your garbage. They want to be left alone.
Yeah.
I was reading here that it's, even though it's in this park, so to speak, proper, that it's like a 3-day trek if you were wanting to go see it. So if it hadn't have been discovered aerially, then nobody would have never known. Yeah, it's not like you can go see it. That's what I wanted the listeners to hear.
That's probably why they didn't discover it till 1990 or whatever. So, but it's pretty cool, and I've heard that it also the water is actually cleaner where they have these because there's less sediment getting stirred up. The fish thrive in there. All the other animals around like it. If you're a bear, it's like, hey, I can just go grab the trout out of that stream or whatever, So.
I hate to take this conversation down the toilet, but I have a very important question. With dams, how is waste managed? Because if everything is boxed in, you know what I'm
Max.
getting there.
Well,
I'm sure nature provides.
Actually, you have brought up a very important point because you are looking at the biodiversity of the soil and the water. Because the breakdown of vegetable and animal waste is how we fertilize everything around us. So that is why generally beaver dams and areas like that where you get a lot of sedimentation falling out are also very good for lots of vegetation, which again enhances moose, elk, and other populations like that up north.
Does it affect the purity of the water, though?
Once you have a good bacterial population going, it's an ongoing process.
At some juncture, and this is a little bit of a departure of what we're talking about, but would you play Trivial Pursuit and be on my team?
I would be happy to.
We could win. I really think I feel good about our chances.
Yeah, Allan always retains a lot of. He manages to retain knowledge that I would probably just
unbelievable, unbelievable.
I don't know. It's an interesting construction. I'll tell you, there's some fascinating videos about this. Wood Buffalo National Park Beaver Dam. But I thought it was worth, because, several months ago, Allan, we talked about the Hoover Dam in Great Moments in Building History, which was a pretty it is a very impressive construction. However, there were a lot of side effects that we found with, was it the Colorado? There's some lake that it almost turned it toxic, because there's some things that weren't meant to be flooded out, and when it starts decaying and And when you have certain trees and all these different things suddenly underwater, it can contaminate. So I guess water management, it's obviously always been a key for our survival. And maybe there's something to learn from like I said, the noble beaver. So
what's funny is, like, if you watch Mountain Men, for instance, I mean, the beaver is their nemesis in a lot of cases,
right.
You know. That supply of water's got to get down for cattle, for instance, for a rancher and stuff like that. And it doesn't end real good for them, unfortunately, in certain situations.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, you know, you always wind up with some level of conflict between what they want to do and what we're up to, and not necessarily what the other critters in the neighborhood are up to. So the biggest thing is, left to their own devices, out in nature, doing their thing, they kind of got it going on. They know what they're doing. Now, mixing us with them doesn't work real well because we have different priorities.
Yeah. You know, where this dam is, that, you know, they can absolutely probably survive there till, you know, the end of time.
They could care less about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing good.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say, folks, get out there. If you want something interesting, go check that out. The wood buffalo. I guess what I'm wondering is this, what? That's a weird name. Wood buffalo?
No, they're
Canadian.
They have woodland bison there.
Okay, why not call it the woodland bison?
Because for some
park?
strange reason, Europeans called them buffaloes.
Okay, no, I'm talking about. Never mind. I just thought it was an odd name because I think of the wooden nickel. The
right.
Okay, so hey, Jay. When we come back, we're going to get to our great moments. Not our great moments in building. Our must-have item of the week. But for folks that are just tuning in and they may want to talk to you about roofing and remodeling, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I'm at 901-484-5645. That's 901-484-5645. or go to our website, bigmroofingandremodeling.com.
Okay, and you just finished this project, so how soon, because we've been talking about a really interesting project you completed this week. Are you going to have some photos up there?
Yeah, I'm going to be getting the photos the first of the week and getting them posted hopefully by midweek.
Okay, yeah, check it out. And folks, like we said, Jay, commercial, residential, really all-encompassing. And Jay, we always appreciate it, you know. We always like to tease you, but, you know, you bring a real optimism and excitement to job sites that it's really not typical. It's actually sort of extraordinary, and we appreciate that. That's why we like our partnership with you, man. We love having you aboard.
Thank you.
So, but yeah, if you want to experience that expertise, get in touch with Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. So, all right, we got some cool stuff to get to when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
This is glue. Strong stuff.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
I wonder if they have the equivalent of the Janka hardness scale for glue. I have to imagine they do.
There is an adhesion scale. There is an adhesion scale, yes.
I'm sure there is.
It's called an adhesion scale.
There we go. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, coming to you from the Brown Refrigeration Studios. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com, our pal Max over there behind the glass, and the man himself, Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. There's just enough time for a quick text or call at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling hotline at 901-683-0989. Max, you said somebody chimed in earlier?
Yeah, they did, but it was in support of me.
Oh, what was the support?
It was Drew. They said, that's all right, Max. Not everybody has yours and Jake's humor.
Oh, okay. So wait, I don't know that I'd be so happy to be lumped in with Jake, Max. I think you and Jake are distinctive in your sensibilities, but
we complement each other pretty well, though.
Yeah, sometimes Max throws on these goofy rejoinders that are confusing or hard to follow and throw us for a loop. But Drew, thanks for chiming in, man. We appreciate that. So, but hey, Jay, in a minute we've got some more to discuss with you about some of the projects you've got going on. But Allan, I'm going to let you hold this up. We're going to get to our must-have item of the week. And the reason I'm not holding it up is because I don't want dead mosquitoes all over my thing.
It's because from experience.
Yeah, but this is actually an item we mentioned earlier, but it looks good on camera, Allan. Tell people what you're holding up. It's on camera, and it's moving or something.
Well, what we have here is a technological marvel you couldn't have had 40 years ago. It is a solar-powered pathway light.
Right.
Coupled with a bug zapper.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. You had great success with this on the property, and it looks good. It looks like a flickering kind of flame.
Yep.
And it seems
fun. So
yeah, what do they cost, Allan?
They are shockingly affordable at your big box store.
Okay.
They are not anywhere near what they probably should cost. All right, so here's the cool features. Of course, it has the solar powering thing at the top.
Yeah.
With the little battery pack inside of it, LED technology, and with the LED technology using so little power, the battery packs are able to power a small bug zapper. So this gives us a kind of a 1-2 punch when we're landscape lighting, because it is a cool looking light.
Yeah, it looks like a
nice.
flame.
It's
cool,
fun.
like a
It
gas
doesn't
lamp.
it's not just the blank white light you got sitting out there. So they're fun looking on a pathway. And the other thing is they do a small amount of pest control. I'm not going to say they do a great job. I'm not going to say it's going to wipe out the mosquitoes in your yard or anything like that. I'm just going to say it's an effort, especially because you do have a light attracting insects to it. Gypsy moth and smaller insect pests get whacked.
And it's got a nice little flap at the bottom so you can empty out all the dead mosquitoes and everything.
Yeah. You can leave it out there
after the carnage.
So,
you can,
it's not too bad. Now, the cool thing I like with this one is the simple fact that it is a small post, so that you can. Now, it does come with a 6-foot post.
Oh yeah,
so
you might want different heights.
You can set that at different heights. And for walkways, we have a tendency to use a small piece of conduit and just set them down within about 10 inches, 12 inches of the ground.
So there you go. Okay.
They work well.
Solar-powered, flickering mosquito lamp killer, whatever. Okay.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Hey, Jay, let's throw it back to you, man, because we don't get you in the studio as often as we'd like. So there's things
That's about to change, Joe.
Okay, good. All right. Well, hey, man. So there's some other topics we want to get to. So
go ahead.
No, well, you got your checklist there. So
yeah, I just wanted to remind everybody that we'd love to be of service. If you've got any home project going on, or would like to even talk about any for that matter, but we're primarily a exterior contractor. 70% of our business is roofing, both residential and commercial. Been quite a few storms and straight line winds come through in the last 60 days, even hail in several areas, as I'm sure most of you know. If you're not sure how you stand on your roofing situation on your home or your business, give me a call. All it takes is a quick inspection, and I'm kind of uniquely suited to kind of help you guide, a claim through your insurance. If you've got a way to go there, that's what we do best. So if you've got a 20-year-old roof, for instance, or even 15 for that matter, that's just kind of old, but would like to see if maybe there's enough wind or hail damage up there for your insurance company to replace it, give me a call. I'll personally come out and inspect it and advise you on what I believe you should do at that point in time. And don't forget, as either when it comes to siding, fences, we do decks, as we talked about earlier. We do gutters of all kinds and forms, even do replacement windows. Wood replacement's becoming a big deal in the Mid-South. We will replace that rotten soffit or fascia board running around your home. And, of course, we do painting and drywall as well. So keep us in mind if we can be of service in any kind of way. And if you'd like for us just to come out and take a look at what you've got going on and give you a free estimate, we'll certainly do that as well.
Yeah, well, you want to give them the contact there, Jay?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm at 901-484-5645. That's 901-484-5645. And BigMRoofingAndRemodeling.com is the website. And I tell you, folks, if you're considering using a contractor, and for instance, if you're considering using us potentially, go to that website. All our credentials are right there. Take a look at the Better Business Bureau ratings that we have. We've never had less than a 5-star review. We're very proud of what we do and how we do it. So love to hear from you if we can be of service.
Yeah, it's and for folks that are sort of new to Tool Talk Radio, you should know. Jay, we met you very organically. I went, so we were at one of the home shows. I don't know how many years ago, but I had, my roofing situation was pretty serious. It was a pretty dysfunctional roof, and I had for years been knowing that I was going to have to do something. I asked so many people in the past about, I wonder if my homeowner's insurance covers this. I'd ask 20 different people. You get 20 different answers. Nobody seemed to have a handle on it. And I went right up to you, and I think that's the first thing I asked you about. And then we started talking about, we realized this would be a good partnership to get you on Tool Talk. But that saved the day. You got my roof replaced. You got Allan's. You got our buddy Brandon Olmstead. And it was so liberating, and it was so exciting. That was one of the most exciting things that's happened to me in the last 10 years, believe it or not, getting a new roof. It's a big deal, man.
Appreciate it, man. I'll tell you one that just happened, just real quickly, to show you how it can work and how expertise really is a big deal when it comes to doing this. Is I got a phone call who I know now this person to be a full bird colonel who is actually in Washington, D.C. right now, and his lovely bride's at home. But they had tried 3 times with 3 contractors to try to get something done. And they would come out, and then they'd never call them again, wouldn't answer the phone, wouldn't do anything. We met them out there and met the adjuster. 2 hours after that happened and the adjustment took place, $40,000 later, we replaced a roof via insurance on a $1 million home right there in South Haven. So you got to know how to deal with that insurance company, that adjuster. That's what's critical.
Yeah, and you're a former insurance agent, which that helps a lot.
It does.
It's like, but it is super. And folks, the consultation is free. If you have any roofing issues at all or questions, or if you're just not sure, Jay should be the first guy you call. So once again, Jay, before we get out of here, how do they do that?
I'm at 901-484-5645. That's 901-484-5645. or bigmroofingandremodeling.com. And you can call me today, folks. I answer my phone all the time.
Yeah, that's true. And I found that even at night, too. How late will you take a phone call?
As long as I'm awake.
Okay. Put that to the test, folks. I really, like I said.
I say up until 10 without a problem.
Yeah, call during Game 7 of the World Series or the championship play or something. But
or call Joe during Comic-Con.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, Jay, it's always fun having you in. We got to do this more often.
Had a good time, fellas. Thank you.
But you guys, the clock waits for no one. It's time to get out of here. So this has been another interesting episode of Tool Talk Radio. On behalf of my buddy Allan Gilbreth, our pal Max over there behind the glass, and Jay Hill, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.